Hello and welcome to this learning video about pedagogic strategies to engage hard-to-reach young people. This is a topic that a lot of people have specifically asked for. We hope that you will get inspired and learn some new and useful things. Let's go. To first get an idea of how we want to engage hard-to-reach young people, we will first look at the difference between formal, informal, and non-formal education. Formal education is the hierarchically, curricular-based, in-classroom conducted education. Our school system is the best example of that. Informal education refers to the lifelong process of continuous learning that takes place through social interactions and day-to-day life. Non-formal education is education that is meant as such, but generally takes place outside of a classroom environment with a freer concept. As pedagogues, we only have an indirect influence on informal learning. We can set impulses and lead by example. But when it comes to formal and non-formal learning, we can adapt our strategies to fit our audience. When working with hard-to-reach youth, the value of formal classroom training should not be underestimated. Working with chalk on a board in a format that the students are used to and can as such provide needed predictability and help students focus on the content. However, we propose to blend traditional approaches with elements of non-formal education. That is, because non-formal education enables learners to grow on a more personal level as they engage in their own skills and interests. Non-formal learning helps individuals with decision-making. It builds self-confidence and promotes active citizenship. When we say that non-formal education is a freer format, we talk about facilitating group learning, open and non-formal communication, active and voluntary participation, collaboration as opposed to competition, practical tasks, a freeing environment as well as a holistic and interest-driven approach. It is essential that youth have the opportunity and are encouraged to test themselves in order to collect many authentic experiences, which is crucially important at this age. What can you do within non-formal training? Here are some ideas. To simulate interest, you can take field trips or play games such as problem dramas or setting up a puppet show. To start discussions, try brainstorming sessions, picture stories, and role plays. To share information, preparing and sharing movies, exhibits, and shows can be a good format. Skills can amongst others be built through apprenticeships and youth-to-youth exchange. With non-formal education you can let your creativity fly and try to find the approach most fitting for your learners. When working in a non-formal setting, group dynamics become essential. Social, cultural and personality specifics of the individuals come to the forefront. Youth both needs help, clear guidance and continuous support through informal learning, and make their own experiences. You will want to consider what they should learn in the informal setting and what knowledge and suggestions you want to introduce before an informal training. Say that you during a project week have given a youth group the task of making a movie about a shared hobby. It might be wise to give them some tips about project work before letting them engage in the content. Also think about putting together the group to include learners with different skills. At the project start, you might want them to think about laying out group rules, roles, and a project plan. Maybe you want to make suggestions about looking into group dynamics such as the forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning model from Bruce Tuckman or the principles of good group functioning based on the work of Avery. They could also be encouraged to form a code of conduct. In addition, they might profit from some guidance on the topic of feedback culture. You could introduce a method like the 6 Hats method by Edward de Bono, or practice giving and taking feedback as a role-play game. To recap, to engage hard-to-reach youth, get out of the classroom and experiment with adding more non-formal educational elements to your curriculum. Remember the principles for non-formal training when doing so. If you are lacking ideas, ask the children what they are interested in, do online research for ideas and build from that. Try to find the right level of help and guidance for youth working together. Helping them with team building and establishing a project plan and a feedback culture frees up more capacity for youth to focus on the other tasks at hand. Congratulations on having finished this learning video about engaging hard-to-reach youth. You have received some tips on how to engage your audience. We hope you feel inspired to go out and put things to the test.